Hello. So the Jupiter Uranus conjunction has already happened. Hooray! But it hasn't ended. So the influence of this conjunction will flavor the rest of this year, and it'll flavor, so to speak, all kinds of things. And I'm going to talk about food specifically, which may seem weird. And some of you may have zero interest in this, and that's okay. Just tune out right now. But there's this concept that when I first heard about it, I kind of got it, like I understood it on a gut level. I'm using a lot of food-related words, puns intended, I guess. So on a gut level, I kind of got that certain foods, like on a very basic level, certain foods feel lighter in the body, and certain foods feel heavier in the body. That I got, and I totally agreed with. But when I started to hear, especially like Instagram influencers early on, this is back when Instagram really kind of took off with the very elaborate yoga pictures and beautiful scenery, highly edited. And these people, these influencers, were talking about high vibration foods, low vibration foods. It sounded pompous, kind of. I don't know what the right words are, but it sounded kind of judgy about eating a low vibration food. When you say something sits heavier in the body, that doesn't sound as judgy, right? Or to me, it doesn't. I don't know. As I grow older, I sometimes come around to concepts that earlier in life I was like, oh, that's, total hogwash. And but when somebody started talking about higher vibration foods, lower vibration foods, and the fact that they were on a spiritual path and so advanced that they could only eat high vibration foods, it just sounded kind of arrogant, pompous to me, somebody who didn't think like that and hadn't brought in those concepts. And then I sort of, whenever I get like that, just like we all do when we get a judgment or a hardcore opinion based on nothing except maybe a reaction to, what they're hearing or what they're exposed to, then it made me not even want to entertain that concept because I had such a hard no. Because I have also internally, one thing I do have is a high BS meter. Like I have a strong BS meter where I can detect when somebody is just talking and not really living what they're talking. They're not walking their walk or walking their talk. They're pretend, or they have the concept up here in their head, but it's not real yet. And so I think sometimes I was listening to people talk about this where my BS meter was like ding, ding, ding. And it wasn't because what they were saying was necessarily BS, but it was because it wasn't wholeheartedly true for them, or something was off. And I didn't know what it was, but it made me not like the ideas they were saying out loud. And I don't know if you're following me at all, because it probably seems like it has nothing to do with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, but one thing that can happen with Jupiter-Uranus conjunctions, well, there are a whole bunch of things because it's Jupiter and it's Uranus, but one thing is Uranus is all about vibration. Uranus is all about the vibration. It is probably, if you want to use the word vibrational for a planet, I would definitely, my mind would go to Uranus, maybe Mercury, the two are related sometimes. In the way they behave and act, but Uranus definitely, if I think of the word vibration, Jupiter is like an expansion and a lift, it's got that helium balloon quality to it, Jupiter does. So the idea of a higher vibration. And what I've noticed over the past number of years as I age, and as I also walk my slow and plodding spiritual path, which, believe you me, it's not in any way perfect. I'm no example for anyone, But I do, you know, like all of us, I'm on my own path to grow and to deepen and to connect with something bigger than myself. And so there I am on my little path, slowly plodding along and aging at the same time. And I notice that as I age, and I wonder, you know, my brain is wanting to analyze this, like, is it aging? Is it postmenopausal? Is it, you know, the food sources in the US are becoming harder for our bodies to take in? You know, my brain wants to analyze it. And I also do feel kind of on a deep experiential level that as I plod along on my slow spiritual path, again, no example for anyone, but it is something I'm doing on my own, that I find that these things that can be referred to as low vibration foods, which I'll explain in a minute if you've never heard this concept before, that I don't want as many of them. I don't want them as much of the time. It actually leaves me in a quandary because I do keep track of my nutrition. Like, I want to make sure I'm getting so many grams of protein and so forth, or even fats. And so I want to understand where my protein specifically is coming from. And protein is one of the denser, heavier foods. And in this land of high vibration and low vibration foods, protein sources that are animal related are considered very low. So I just pulled some things from my refrigerator and cabinets. So a high vibration food, just to give a visual example, which I love when I'm teaching to do visuals, would be a fruit or a vegetable, something you pull off a tree, pull off a vine, comes out of the ground, high vibration food, okay? So here is a package of rice noodles. They are in fact vegan, you know, so you would think vegan, high vibration, and they, compared to the apple, so if I did a hierarchy, you know, high vibration, high but lower, because it's packaged, it's been processed. That makes it a lower vibration, it's been processed. Even though it's a very pure, it's just rice noodles, like it's rice, you know, still lower than the apple because it's been processed. Then here I had baby Swiss cheese in the fridge, and this would be, so on the hierarchy, let's see if we can do this. Oh good, it balances. Okay, so the hierarchy of vibrational foods would be something like this, with the cheese being down here because it's animal products and also processed, so it's down here. And in the land of people who kind of want to be in high vibration foods, this is actually way down, except that I can't juggle everything and I drop my apple, but it's way down, like on the floor. And meat would be like in the basement. So, and I didn't have any meat to show you, but it would be subfloor and considered very low vibration. So again, this is a concept that I used to scoff at inwardly because I just had like this visceral reaction to the way it was presented and the people presenting it, and you know, perhaps I heard it from the wrong people, I don't know, or perhaps I was just being super judgy and reactionary because I was still eating meat and I didn't want to be told otherwise, which ding ding ding, that was probably it. But anyway, Jupiter and Uranus conjuncting, you may find that it's more than just your career, it's more than your financial situation, it's more than travel. You know, Jupiter, travel, Uranus, also travel. It's more than computer, IT, techie stuff, also implicated with those two planets together. It's more than maybe your love life. It's more than, you know, some of the things that people want when they come to astrology for help. It's more than that. It's going to come down to things like changing your diet, maybe suddenly Uranus, vibrationally Uranus, lifting your vibration Jupiter, and maybe feeling called to walk further along your spiritual path, whatever yours is. You know, there's no one way to walk home to whatever our source is. There's no one pathway home, but there are many pathways home. And you may be on yours and feeling called to walk a little faster, or, maybe even switch paths, who knows? But notice all the things that you're wanting to do differently. It's just very suddenly come into my life where I want to do a lot of little tiny things differently. And I'm realizing as I look at this conjunction and some of the astrology of this year that, some of it's the Jupiter Uranus conjunction. So what are you feeling called to change? And vibrationally, if you think of low vibration, high vibration, can you look at your own life and things that you've been drawn to recently, things you want to reject recently, based on like, this just feels heavy and this feels light and yay. What are you choosing? What's going on for you? It's good to notice. Pay attention to these things. All right, take care.